March 1st, 2026. Inside the Pentagon, military planners are finalizing operations for President Trump. Not just airstrikes, not just degrading nuclear facilities, regime change. According to 3 U.S. defense officials speaking to the Associated Press, the planning has entered its final phase. Strike packages are being assembled, target lists are being refined, intelligence assets are being positioned across the region, and the objectives have expanded far beyond what anyone expected just weeks ago. Option 1. Strike Iranian nuclear sites and missile production facilities. Damage the program, set it back years. Limited objectives, precision strikes, in and out. Option 2. Target individual Iranian leaders. Decapitation strikes designed to eliminate key commanders and disrupt the regime's entire command structure. Remove the head, and the body collapses. Option 3. Pursue regime change in Iran entirely. No massive ground invasion, no occupation force, just precision strikes, special operations, and a calculated gamble that removing the leadership will trigger the collapse of the entire system. Modern conflict never comes down to strength alone. Success depends on planning, coordination, and the ability to adapt when the map changes faster than anyone expects. That same principle sits at the center of today's sponsor, Supremacy World War II, a free online PvP strategy game built around modern global warfare. Every match you play lasts for weeks, which means your decisions can influence every step of the campaign. You begin by taking command of a real country and planning its future. From building up your economy to researching new weapon systems, you deploy tanks, submarines, and jets. Form alliances when diplomacy serves you, or take the initiative when it's time to move. You compete against as many as 99 real players operating on the same map in real time, each with their own strategy and ambitions. No 2 campaigns unfold the same way. For viewers who enjoy long-term strategy, this game rewards planning as much as it does decisive action. It's available on both PC and mobile, and new players that sign up from my link will receive the seasonal unit, the Elite Railgun, valued at $40, completely free. If you want a strategy experience that respects planning, coordination, and real-time decision-making, the link is in the description. Trump has publicly floated the idea. When asked about regime change in Iran during a press conference last week, he responded, "Would that be the best thing that could happen?" It seems like that would be the best thing that could happen. He didn't elaborate on how. He didn't name who would replace the current government. He just said, there are people. And now, the Pentagon is drawing up plans to make it happen. This isn't deterrence anymore. This is preparation for war. And not just any war, a war designed to end the Islamic Republic of Iran. The shift happened quietly, almost invisibly. Just last month, the focus was on degrading Iran's nuclear infrastructure, strike the enrichment sites, destroy the centrifuges, set the program back a decade. Limited objectives, precision strikes, in and out. But something changed. Trump started talking differently, in interviews, in press conferences, on social media. Regime change would be the best thing that could happen. That's not the language of containment, that's the language of overthrow. And behind the scenes, military planners adjusted accordingly. According to the Associated Press, the Pentagon is now preparing for 3 distinct scenarios. Scenario 1, a sustained weeks-long bombing campaign targeting nuclear facilities, missile production sites, and Revolutionary Guard installations. This is the baseline, what most analysts expected. Heavy airstrikes designed to cripple Iran's military capabilities without occupying territory. Hundreds of targets, multiple waves, a campaign designed to set Iran back a generation. Scenario 2, targeted killings of Iranian leaders. Not random commanders, specific individuals, high-value targets involved in command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The goal is to disrupt Iran's ability to coordinate a response, remove key decision-makers, create chaos within the regime's leadership structure. Kill enough senior commanders and the chain of command breaks. Orders don't get issued, units don't know where to go, the entire military apparatus freezes. Scenario 3, full regime change. This goes beyond strikes, beyond targeted killings. The objective becomes ending the Islamic Republic entirely and facilitating the rise of a new government. How that happens without a ground invasion remains unclear, but the planning is real and it's active. One U.S. official told the Associated Press the 12-day war and Israeli strikes against individual targets really showed the utility of that approach. He was referring to the June 2025 conflict between Israel and Iran. During those 12 days, Israeli forces killed at least 20 senior Iranian commanders, including Major General Mohammad Baheri, Chief of Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces. That's not a tactical strike, that's a decapitation. And the Pentagon is studying how Israel did it. Targeting individuals requires precision, intelligence, real-time tracking.
You can't just bomb a building and hope the right person is inside. You need to know exactly where they are, what they're doing, who's with them, and you need to strike before they move. During the 12-day war, Israel demonstrated that this is possible. They tracked Iranian commanders in real time, identified their locations, and struck with precision munitions, drone strikes, missile attacks, and special operations raids. The result, Iran's military leadership was gutted. Command structures collapsed, communications broke down. For a brief moment, the Islamic Republic was paralyzed. Now, the Pentagon is considering doing the same thing, but on a larger scale. One U.S. official cautioned that targeting individuals, quote, requires additional intelligence resources. Translation, you need people on the ground, signals intelligence, satellite coverage, human sources inside Iran who can provide real-time updates on leadership movements. The U.S. has some of this, but not all of it, and the official admitted it was unclear what intelligence the U.S. has on Iranian leaders who could potentially be targeted. That's a significant gap, because if you're going to attempt decapitation strikes, you can't afford to miss. A failed assassination attempt doesn't weaken the regime, it strengthens it. It gives Iran a propaganda victory, and it proves that the United States can't reach its leaders. So the Pentagon is working to close that gap, deploying additional intelligence assets, coordinating with Israel, activating sources inside Iran. But time is running out. Trump's deadline is approaching, and the window for gathering intelligence is narrow. The question isn't whether the U.S. can strike Iranian leaders, it's whether the U.S. can strike the right ones at the right time. Regime change without ground forces is a gamble. Historically, overthrowing a government required boots on the ground, occupy the capital, seize the government buildings, install a new leadership. That's how it worked in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Libya, and in every case, it was messy, expensive, and it took years. Trump has repeatedly said he won't repeat those mistakes. No endless wars, no nation building, no occupation. So, how do you achieve regime change without an invasion? The answer might be Venezuela. On January 3, 2026, U.S. Special Operations Forces raided Caracas and captured President Maduro. They extracted him from his compound, flew him out of the country, and brought him to New York to face criminal charges. No invasion, no occupation, just a rapid precision raid conducted by elite forces. Maduro's government collapsed within days. His inner circle fled, the military stood down, and Venezuela transitioned to new leadership. It was the kind of operation Trump likes: fast, decisive, minimal American casualties. Now, the Pentagon is asking, can we do the same thing in Iran? The challenge is geography. Venezuela's capital, Caracas, is on the coast. U.S. forces could launch from ships offshore, fly helicopters inland, conduct the raid, and extract within hours. Tehran is landlocked, over 600 miles from the nearest coast, surrounded by mountains, defended by air defense systems and military bases. You can't just fly helicopters into Iran. They'd be shot down before they got close. So, if regime change is the goal, it has to happen differently. One option, decapitation strikes, eliminate key leaders, create a power vacuum that triggers internal collapse. If Ayatollah Khamenei is killed, there's no clear successor. Different factions within the regime compete for power. Hardliners versus pragmatists, the Revolutionary Guard versus the clerical establishment. That competition could destabilize the entire system, and in the chaos, a new leadership emerges, one more favorable to the United States.
Or that's the theory. The reality is far messier. Killing Khamenei doesn't guarantee regime collapse. It could just as easily trigger a consolidation. Hardliners seize control, martial law is declared, the crackdown intensifies. And then you're not looking at regime change. You're looking at a more dangerous, more unpredictable version of the Islamic Republic. Another option, combine airstrikes with support for internal opposition groups. Iran just experienced the deadliest protests in its history. Millions of people took to the streets demanding an end to the regime. The government crushed them with overwhelming force, but the anger didn't disappear. It's still there, waiting. If the U.S. strikes Iranian leadership and cripples the security apparatus, those protesters might come back, this time with less fear and more momentum. The U.S. could support them: weapons, intelligence, communications equipment, enough to turn protests into an armed uprising. But that's a dangerous game, because once you start arming opposition groups, you lose control over what happens next. They might overthrow the regime, or they might fragment into competing factions and plunge Iran into civil war. Either way, the outcome is unpredictable, and unpredictability is the last thing you want when dealing with a country that has ballistic missiles, proxy forces across the region, and the ability to shut down 20% of the world's oil supply. The Pentagon knows this, which is why the planning includes contingencies for what happens after the strikes. But those contingencies are limited, because without ground forces, the U.S. has no way to control events inside Iran once the bombs start falling. Iran isn't sitting idle while the U.S. plans. Tehran knows it's being targeted, and it's preparing accordingly. On Thursday, Iran sent a letter to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. The message was clear: Iran will not start any war, but in the event that it's subjected to military aggression, Iran will respond decisively and proportionately. That's not bluster, it's a promise. Iran has threatened to shut down the Strait of Hormuz if attacked. That would cut off a fifth of global oil flows. Prices would skyrocket, economies would take a hit, and the international community would pressure Washington to back off. Iran has also warned it will retaliate against U.S. military bases throughout the region. The U.S. has installations in Jordan, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, and Turkey, all within range of Iranian ballistic missiles. Last June, Iran fired missiles at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Qatari air defenses intercepted most of them, but the message was sent: Iran can reach American forces. If the U.S. kills Iranian leaders, Iran will strike back, and U.S. officials fully expect casualties. One official told the Associated Press, "We fully expect Iran to fight back in the event of an attack, raising the risk of U.S. casualties and a regional conflict." That's the calculus Trump is weighing. Regime change could end the Islamic Republic, but it could also trigger a wider war that drags in U.S. allies and destabilizes the entire Middle East. On Thursday, a Russian warship joined Iranian naval drills in the Gulf of Oman. Moscow is signaling that it's watching, and it won't ignore a U.S. attack on its partner. Russia isn't going to war for Iran, but it could provide intelligence, supply weapons, complicate U.S. operations. China, meanwhile, remains silent, but Beijing is Iran's largest oil customer, and China has a vested interest in preventing the U.S. from controlling Middle Eastern energy supplies. All of this adds layers of risk to an already dangerous plan. The diplomatic track hasn't closed yet, not completely. On Tuesday, Iranian and U.S. negotiators met in Geneva. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said both sides have agreed on guiding principles for further talks. But White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt quickly clarified, "We're still very far apart on some issues." Iran has resisted making major concessions on its nuclear program. Tehran insists it's for peaceful purposes. The U.S. and Israel insist Iran is trying to develop a bomb. Neither side is budging. Trump set a deadline. Really bad things will happen if no deal is reached. That deadline is approaching, and military planners are preparing for the moment Trump gives the order. A senior U.S. official said Iran would submit a written proposal addressing U.S. concerns, but it's unclear whether that proposal will be enough to prevent strikes. Trump's position is firm. They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. You can't have peace in the Middle East if they have a nuclear weapon. Translation: either Iran agrees to dismantle its program, or the U.S. will do it by force. And now, by force doesn't just mean bombing nuclear sites, it means removing the regime entirely. This is the most dangerous moment in U.S.-Iran relations in decades. 2 carrier strike groups are positioned off Iran's coast. Over 120 combat aircraft are deployed in the region. Intelligence assets are gathering data on Iranian leadership, strike packages are being finalized, and the objective has shifted from containment to regime change. Trump has done this before. He authorized the raid that captured Maduro. He approved the strike that killed Qasem Soleimani in 2020. He's shown a willingness to take risks that other presidents avoided. The question now is whether he'll order the most ambitious military operation of his presidency, one designed not just to damage Iran's capabilities, but to end the Islamic Republic entirely. The clock is ticking, the military is ready, and the decision rests with one man. So here's the question for you. Should the United States pursue regime change in Iran? Can it succeed without a ground invasion? Or is this a gamble that risks triggering a wider war the U.S. can't control? Drop your answer in the comments below. This is happening in real time. If you made it this far, hit like and subscribe for continuous coverage of this developing crisis. No speculation, just facts as they emerge. And if you want to support the channel, join the fleet. Loyalty badges, priority responses, and exclusive updates. Click join and get on board. The deadline is approaching. The targets are locked, and the world is waiting to see if Trump pulls the trigger. I'll see you in the next one.